Previously on the Sports Report.
You know, you're a former college athlete on the circuit right now. How would you feel in a similar situation if you were Bronny or Bryce
playing with my father,
who was one of the best to ever do it? Like, what?
I would hate it. I would hate it significantly. What do you mean? I don't want to play with my dad. Like, when I tell you my father was one of the biggest hard asses when it came to sports, like, he would have me out there on a bucket catching balls from my brother with no padding, no catcher's gear, nothing, in the freezing cold. And I'm crying because I'm getting peppered in the leg by 85, 90 mile an hour fastballs mid-thigh. Like, I'm telling you, if I was sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to play baseball with my father, I'd plunk him. I love my dad more than anything in the world. In fact, he was just calling me, didn't know we were live. Pressure's on when your family's in the picture when it comes to, athletics. Like, my dad wasn't a football guy, so I can't really imagine him in the pads, but like, I just remember when I was a kid, I was so afraid to fail in front of my dad or whatever. I would love to play with my brother. Like, if I got an opportunity to play the same sport as my brother, we did something like that, would be pretty cool. But my father, man, I would rather him be sitting in the stands watching me play because, his time is done and mine is not. So. What's going on, guys? This is JR Hensley with the Sports Report here. Happy Aloha Friday. We here at the Sports Report are the fastest growing sports podcast in the Dallas metro area. Like I said, it's Aloha Friday, hence the get up right here. We've talked about it in our previous shows, but being at the University of Hawaii and spending time over on those islands every Friday, regardless of your occupation, you wear an Aloha shirt. Just kind of give everybody the feel that it's Friday. There's something to celebrate about, and it's every Friday. But listen, we got a big game. We got a big week here. In this show, big show. We've got a lot to talk about. Week 1 hit off with a bang already. We had some great games yesterday. We're going to dive into, and then also talk about a few games happening this evening as well as tomorrow. So get excited for that. I also want to get into the Dr. Pepper Fansville. I know some people might know a little bit about that, but they're on season 5 of that. That stuff is so entertaining. You got Brian Bosworth up there, just really running the show with that. I'll touch a little bit on the XFL. Obviously, this is going to be something relevant we're going to talk about as a feeder league. I'm going to do a little bit of an update with the NFL as far as injury reports or some moves. Go into a little bit of some local eats, because if we can't be big here in Dallas, we won't be big anywhere else. I'll try and get one of our producers on here, Isaac. He's really good with NBA. He knows a few things going on within the league, so we'll try and get him on here. And then also the Sports Report did a little bit of betting yesterday on a few games, and didn't really go according to plan, but that's kind of the name of the game. That's how it goes. So we'll just dive into it. All right. First thing I want to talk about, week 1, college football, West Virginia versus Pitt. Now, I was really, really excited about this game. There was a lot of hype surrounding Pitt. moving into this season, obviously. Now, Pitt wins the game 38-31. This is the backyard brawl. This is a rivalry game, and man, it was so much fun to watch. They were back and forth all night. This was one of those games where I was just glued to my seat. I had no idea how it was going to go. Really, it led to key turnover situations that ended up costing West Virginia the game. But let's dive into it. First things first, I want to talk about JT. I call him Babyface Daniels, quarterback over at West Virginia. I know he's he's been moving around a little bit, but this guy's fun to watch, and he's got this childlike face. I love it. He looks very, very young, but also, definitive guy, has a certain look about him. So, but he went 23 for 40. It wasn't a perfect game by any means. He had 214 passing yards, two touchdowns, and one interception. The interception wasn't really his fault. It was one of those popcorn receiver situations, you know what I mean? When throw the ball to a receiver, it's right there in his hands, and they just pop it up in the air straight to a defensive player. They took that back for a pick six. But a highlight would be the true freshman, C.J. Donaldson. He had 7 carries for 125 yards. It's a stiff arm machine, and man, it was really cool to see. It was just impressive seeing somebody that young be able to make some plays like that. It's tough for me to believe that he was a freshman. He's out there making guys look silly, basically looking like he's been in college for a minute. We had Bryce Ford Wheaton was a star last night for West Virginia. This receiver, he's 6'3", 224 pounds. And he was absolutely going up and getting them cookies last night. He had nearly 100 yards receiving. He's only had 2 games at 100 yards receiving prior, which everybody's talking about. There should be more there, but he should have a breakout year this year as long as they throw him the ball. He's a key piece of that offense, so I'm very excited to see. With Pitt, I was impressed with the majority of the O-line play going on in the game, but obviously, they said they had the older guys, they had returners up front, a lot of experience, and supposedly they're one of the best offensive lines preseason going into this year of college football. But that for me has yet to be determined. I think there's still a lot of we're still trying to see a group of guys get here and mesh well together. So yeah, there were still some pressures and things like that allowed West Virginia to stay into the game, but man. Super, super exciting. We had Rodney Hammond, who took 16 carries for 74 yards, 2 touchdowns, turned a swing pass into a 49-yard gain, supplying Pitt with a very large chunk of its offense. Could have done more if he didn't get hurt with the last 7 minutes still in the game, so we'll see how that goes. The punting play of this game, the punters just having a hell of a game. That was a lot of fun, yeah. Putting guys in tough positions, making people work on those drives. It just added to the excitement here. Now, yeah, like I said, Pitt 38, West Virginia 31. I'm optimistic about West Virginia. A part of me would have loved to have seen West Virginia win. I'm a big Big 12 guy. I would have loved to have seen something more. But at the same time, a close game, a 7-point deficit, you're just, that's a good start. That's a good start for West Virginia. Obviously, they've got to pick it up in the weeks to come to show who they are. But as far as Big 12, going up a preseason ranked opponent like Pitt, very, very, very cool. We have Oklahoma State versus Central Michigan. This was 58, Oklahoma State to Central Michigan's 44. Despite a very solid first half, the Cowboys' defense certainly left something to be desired with its play after halftime. Central Michigan just had 15 points at the break, but scored – it was regular, more than 500 yards of total offense right after. We had as part of the first-team offense, we had 4 running backs touching the ball, total carries of 17 between them. Among the running backs, we had Richardson, who had the most carries with 9, followed by Jaden Nixon with 5. We had Ollie Garden with 2 and Zach Middleton with 1. Starting linebackers, we had Xavier Benson, Mason Cobb. Each had notable moments. as they attempt to fill a massive void from last year's stars like Malcolm Rodriguez. We've talked about Rodriguez on the show before. Rodrigo, he's making strides over there with the Detroit Lions. A lot of fun with that guy. Those are big shoes to fill. This guy is electric. He's already making plays out there for Detroit. So, there's going to be some high expectations at that position too. True freshman receiver Braylon Presley caught his first career pass, 8-yard gain early in the fourth quarter. We had redshirt freshman Kendall Daniels, who did not start but played a significant amount at safety, had his first career interception in the third quarter. He also led the team with 11 tackles. Redshirt sophomore running back Zach Middleton scored his first touchdown of his career on a 1-yard run in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma State's defensive coordinator, Derek Mason, he debuted during his debut, he saw an opponent score more than 40 points for the first time since Tech in November of 2020. There's no reason Central Michigan should have came back here and, that let them in the game. But Mike Gundy kind of has a trend on when you take the spread of the game, and, I wouldn't bet the money to cover that spread. That's just kind of how it goes. Yeah, the defense recorded a safety and forced 5 straight scoreless drives in the first half, but obviously the second half is a different story. I remember it was tough for me because I was obviously bouncing back from the Pitt and West Virginia game, but going in and looking at the scores at halftime, I'm like, oh, they've got it in the bag. It's money. But then they come out second half and it's just flat offensively, and they're allowing defensively, they're just allowing explosive plays. So in the future for Oklahoma State, they've got to make some adjustments. Definitely got to get it together on defense. We can't allow that many scores, especially with a team like Central Michigan if we're wanting to compete in another Big 12 title game and so forth. So another very, very exciting game. We had the Penn State versus Purdue. Penn State wins the game 35 to Purdue's 31. A game with 7 lead changes that's decided in the final minute of the game is exactly how we want to start college football off week 1. This is exactly why everybody's tuned in every day to go every Saturday or Thursday night games or whatever. For college football, this is exactly what the people want, competitive football games. We had Penn State's quarterback Clifford, who passed for 282 yards, had 4 touchdowns, including a 67-yard pass to tight end Brenton Strange at the end of the first half to inflate the stats a bit. He completed 20 of 37 pass attempts. He had a bad overthrow to Mitchell Tinsley in the fourth quarter that was picked off and returned for a Purdue touchdown to take the lead in the fourth. Now, that was the play where that cat returned that pick 6 and then started vomiting all over the place? That was priceless. That's exactly the type of thing college football is all about, man. That's pure entertainment. I absolutely love it. There was nothing crazy special with the Penn State's running game. They only rushed 98 yards, yet the O-line was praised for good protection. So pass game's a little bit different than the run game. Keandre Lambert-Smith had a couple tough moments, also scored a go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter to make up for it. Tinsley led the team with 84 receiving yards in his Penn State debut. And then Lambert-Smith each caught a touchdown pass from Clifford. Tight end Brenton Strange had 77 yards with 67 on one play for a touchdown. I like Strange, man. That's a big cat. He's going to be a very good production guy moving forward. Now, we have Tyler Warren. He caught 3 passes to chip in as well tonight. Strange made it extremely difficult for Purdue to wrap it up and tackle in the secondary. That's something that I wanted to touch up on for this game is Purdue struggled, man, in the secondary. That was like a huge issue. Is we were seeing guys out there not wrapping up while they're making tackles, allowing huge explosive plays going against their defense. Now, the key matchup of the game, like I just said, was that secondary Purdue Again, it was that secondary against Purdue's quarterback, Penn State secondary against Purdue's quarterback Aiden O'Connell. O'Connell picked Penn State apart for 356 yards, but completed 29 of 58 pass attempts. So the yards were bound to be there. The secondary went through their share of highs and lows as the night went on. The defensive pass pressure was rarely there for much of the night, and the defense didn't record a sack until the fourth quarter when Jonathan Stutherland broke in to bring down O'Connell. So Purdue showed its potential. It's going to be a solid team this year. They overcame some adversity. There were some penalties, bad tackling, like I said, need to be in position. You got to try and take down one of the nation's top programs on a national stage just to be that label, as a contender, but, for the Big Ten. But maybe they should have ran the ball in the fourth quarter when they had a 3-point lead in the game. I don't know. I'm not the coach out there making those calls. Obviously, though, that was something we had success for. They couldn't convert first downs in the secondary, not wrapping up, allowed for more explosive plays for Penn State. This is, overall, man. Yeah, and another thing, too, the good news, the Iowa transfer, Charlie Jones, was just as good as advertised. He had 12 catches for 153 yards and had his first touchdown as a Boilermaker. And once again, I'll say it again, the punter play so far in week one has been astounding. They're putting guys in great positions to, make guys work for huge long drives. They're dropping dimes out there exactly where they should be. Overall, Thursday night games didn't disappoint. We did have some money on the line, though, yesterday. I know Randall, our co-host and, head guy over here at the Sports Report. Yeah, we had some bets going on. We had Oklahoma State covering that spread. We had Purdue we had that Purdue plus 3.5. They weren't able to get that done. West Virginia money line weren't able to get that done as well. So we lost some money yesterday, but that's just kind of the way it goes. I'm sure you're going to start seeing more bets with us in the future. As far as especially bigger games, this is going to be a very big Saturday upcoming for us. But I also want to talk about games that are happening today. So we've got the Eastern Kentucky game at Eastern Michigan. We've got the Western Michigan at number 15, Michigan State. I'm really excited to see how Michigan State does. I want to see how big these boys are up front. I've been hearing some things through the woodwork. These are supposed to be some dudes. We got VTech versus Old Dominion, 7. We got William and Mary at Charlotte, 7. Temple at Duke. I'm curious to see if Duke's going to just remain, the typical Duke team, or if they're going to stretch out and do something special. Tennessee Tech at Kansas. Man, I grew up in Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas, for a long period of time. I was there around the Mangino era, the Orange Bowl era for the Jayhawks. I know now they're really only known for their basketball, and I love Bill Self over there and what they got going on. But I gotta wonder with a Big 12 team like Kansas how they haven't been able to bring guys in already to start making that program turnaround. And that's, I think, what a lot of people are waiting on. Kansas is like the slapper team every year that people are so excited to play Big 12. Unless you're OU, who goes in there and makes an extremely close game, or Texas, who just outright loses that game against Kansas. But I don't know. We'll see how they go this year. I don't have some crazy high expectations, but at the same time, we got to see some improvement. This is a Power 5 team. And they always end up taking these tune-up games early on in the year, and they're never given. It's never a guaranteed win for Kansas. They end up losing games. Mind you, they'll play some more difficult FCS opponents or non-Power 5s. Like I know they've lost games to North Dakota State or Ball State, something like that. And, it sets the tone for a very early disappointing year for the Jayhawks. So I'm hoping that they'll get something turned around. We've also got Iliad, Indiana. at 8 o'clock. And then we've got TCU at Colorado. I really, really want to see TCU do something here. Anytime you've got that Pac-12 opponent, I'm taking the Big 12 or, I'm a big Big 12 guy. I also still have some ties with the Pac-12. There's a couple teams in there that I'll be rooting for. But in that game tonight at 10, I'll be going for TCU. Now, looking at games on Saturday, we've got Sam Houston at number 6, Texas A&M. Man, this has got to be a wax on, wax off situation. This has got to be bread and butter for A&M. We got to see them come out the gate going strong against a team like Sam Houston. That's a lot of expectations there. Very excited for that. We've got South Dakota State at Iowa, and in past years I've been a big Hawkeyes guy, and as an offensive lineman, man, like Iowa's known for having big body, physical offensive line play, and I want to see that. I want to see that here early on. But we'll see how that goes. We've got Buffalo at Maryland. Buffalo and Maryland. Colorado State at number 8, Michigan. Anytime you're playing a team in the big house, I've done it personally, did not go well for me. You're in for a dogfight, and that's to say the least. We got a Mountain West school, Colorado State, coming in there. I remember when I played at the University of Hawaii in 2016, we went over there and played against Jabril Peppers and Taco Charlton, and we just got waxed, man. We came out, it was like first play of the game, and we had a huge interception, and we just thought, oh, man, like we're going out there and doing something electric, and we didn't even cross the 50-yard line like 2 more times after that. In fact, the only reason we ended up on the board that game was because we had a guy by the name of Rigoberto Sanchez. He was our player to watch that game, the only player to watch. Rigoberto Sanchez is now in the NFL. He's with the Indianapolis Colts. They love him over there. Really, really good dude. But yeah, that's how it goes. You have a Mountain West school come over and play a team like Michigan at the big house. I'm not confident that Colorado State's going to be anywhere in the realm of conversation, but crazier things have happened. We've got Rutgers at Boston College, and then we have North Carolina at Appalachian State. We got number 13 NC State at East Carolina. I think this will be a little bit closer of a game than people might think. I'm still obviously taking NC State. But they need to prove themselves this game, just like everybody else here in week 1. There's so much behind the scenes. They've got to learn how to mesh and gel with each other to have some success. We've got Delaware at Navy. Navy's always Navy's a team. Navy's a team. They always have stints of where they can be pretty good. A lot of times you've got Army, though. When it comes to military schools, Army usually reigns supreme. But don't always count them out. I think they're going to definitely squeak away with the win here against Delaware. At least they should. We've got Richmond at Virginia. We've got Northern Illinois against Air Force. Air Force, you better wax that ass. We got Southeast Missouri State at Iowa State. Cyclones, man, Big 12, let's do something here. Please don't make these tune-up games something to a spectacle. Don't get embarrassed out there, please. We got Bowling Green at UCLA. High expectations for these Cali schools. I don't think UCLA should have a too difficult time with a school like Bowling Green, but you never know. UCLA in the past will lose games to Fresno State like it's nobody's business. I feel like Fresno State has UCLA's name. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the Mountain West has a lot of the Pac-12's name. That's just my experience from what I've got. Definitely need to see some more competitive play from the Cali schools. We've got Cincinnati at number 19. We got number 23 Cincinnati at number 19 Arkansas. We've talked about this game for a while now, since like our first show or our second show. But I am really interested to see what Arkansas is going to put up this year. You know, they're a lower to mid-level SEC school, and they've been in the SEC long enough now to this point to establish themselves. So the expectations gradually climbing. We've got to see some production. I'm a big Pittman guy. He recruited me as well. So I'm hoping for the best. I like their quarterback out there. They've got a good receiving core. They just got to go win games, key games, super important. We've got number 11 Oregon versus number 3 Georgia. This is probably going to be my game of the week. I have Georgia, obviously, but Georgia is in my top 4 picks for preseason playoffs, and then I've got my dark horse team, which is Oregon. So what's crazy is we have these games where week 1 we're already trying to break up that bracket. This is gonna be nuts. We've got it's in Atlanta. It's not at Georgia's home field, so it's supposedly a neutral game, but this is every bit overpowered on Georgia. I know Oregon's gonna travel well, and I'm sure they're gonna bring some heat, but at the same time, man, it's the freaking Georgia Bulldogs, okay? We're expecting them to have a breakout year. We're expecting them to go and get some things done. They've got to go over here and stuff Oregon immediately. We've got Arizona at San Diego State. I can't definitively say who's going to win that game. It could very easily go both ways. I kind of want San Diego State to win. I beat Arizona myself, so Arizona, another Pac-12 school that needs to do more. Needs to bring more of a oomph. Show who they are within their conference. In the past few years, they just haven't done that. We got North Dakota at Nebraska. Man, Scott Frost, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? We're going to go here and get a win. We need it. We much need it. They've got, I think, the week after that, they've got a Georgia Southern game, and then they've got their game against OU. So it's not exactly like they have a cupcake schedule moving forward. They have to win this game. They not only have to win this game, they have to win the next game. So they need to establish themselves now. They need to get them right mindset, and no costly turnovers, no dumb penalties, no stupid mistakes that keep them out of the ball game. I want to support Nebraska. I really do. I don't want to sit here and shit on Scott Frost and what he's got going on, but they are most definitely trying to run this guy out of town because of situations like that just happened with Northwestern out there in Dublin. We've got, let's see, Bethune-Cookman at number 16, Miami. Miami better wax them. We've got Norfolk State at Marshall. I'm taking Marshall. That's a very tough-nosed football team. We got Tulsa at Wyoming. Tulsa had a really good year last year. Tulsa's doing some things. And I was trying to tell you guys, and obviously with last week, we saw what kind of state Wyoming is in right now. And Tulsa, I'm taking Tulsa with this game. I really, really see a huge momentum shift in that program. They're starting to have that culture of winning. They're bringing that back, which is awesome. I'm taking them over the Mustangs. We've got UTEP at number 9, Oklahoma. I can't stress this enough. If UTEP is on your schedule and you are a Power 5 school, they should not even be in the realm of discussion. OU, please do not make this a close game. I am begging you. I can already hear Sooners all across everywhere that are like, every year they're like, why isn't OU in this? Why isn't OU makes a habit of playing close games with opponents that they absolutely shouldn't. And this is one of those situations. Go in there and blow these guys out. They do not belong on the same field as you. No offense to the UTEP Miners. I'm sure they could go out and have a breakout year. College football's weird like that. But when you're a team like OU, you got a lot of hype around you. Obviously, in the offseason, there's been a lot of things that have changed in different shape. You lose your quarterbacks, you lose your head coach. A lot of things are happening right now in the underworkings at OU. That doesn't change the fact that you're a Big 12 school. You're about to be in the SEC sooner than not. You definitely need to go out here and blow these fools out. Let's see here. We've got number 24, Houston at UTSA. UTSA is one of those programs that is relatively new to the scene. They're getting better. Don't count them out for the future. They've got really well funding over there. They've got a good athletic department. They're getting better. So we're going to see if their recruiting paid off. Number 24 preseason ranked Houston. We'll see. Houston wins games. They do. But at the same time, nothing's too far out of reach with those guys. Troy at number 21, Ole Miss. My father's actually going to be down there. He's leaving. He's heading down to the Grove. Actually, right now, I believe he's on his way. So I'm going to ask him and see how that environment is for him. We've got number 25, BYU at South Florida. BYU's got a tough schedule this year. But they have a lot of – the thing with BYU, I've played them for several different bouts, and they're a big, strong, independent football team. They have been able to make a lot of close games happen and upsets happen because of who they are. I swear every time I turn on a game or I've played against them, I see a Kafusi out there. They just have like a sea of Kafusis. I don't know where they come from, but they definitely have just they just keep breeding them out. I feel like if you go to BYU, you're going to have a Kafusi on your team, and they are massive human beings. So that's a good one. We got UC Davis at Cal. Cal's one of those schools where they have a big front. I want to see them do, we're talking about bottom level Pac-12 teams. Cal hasn't had some rich history of winning in the past few years. They're not a bad team. Obviously, when Marshawn was over there, they had a lot of success. But in the past few years, they'll end up upsetting a team or two in the conference, but then kind of fizzle out towards the end of the year. We've got Nichols at South Alabama. We've got Texas State at Nevada. Nevada, I'm curious to see how you guys are going to do this year, especially being a contender in the Mountain West. What are you guys bringing to the table? We've got Morgan State versus Georgia Southern. We got Florida Atlantic at Ohio. Middle Tennessee at James Madison. I'm taking Middle Tennessee. Rice at number 14, USC. Okay. USC. We have a new head coach. We have a new quarterback. And I love the idea of Caleb Williams when he transferred, goes over to hold on one second. Caleb Williams, he goes over to USC, Pac-12 school, right? Goes from the Big 12 to the Pac-12. This is a great option for a guy like Caleb, okay? He is already stepping on campus, several NIL deals. He's become quite the face over there. He's going to do well in a conference like the Pac-12. I mean, he's not going to be going against he's not going to be going against the SEC opponents that are a struggle every week. You're not going to have to worry about teams like Georgia or Alabama. You're playing against teams that you can expose their defense a little bit better, especially at the quarterback position. Now, once again, with the shift from OU to USC, you've got the Lincoln Riley situation, right? How is he going to mesh over there with that group of guys? Is he going to bring them together immediately? Are they rebuilding right now? Is this going to be one of those years where they come out and fall flat? I don't know. I have high expectations for Caleb Williams. He's going to be a good pick. Man, it's coming down outside. Oh my goodness. We're in downtown Dallas, by the way. Past 2 days, it's been going nuts. But Caleb Williams, yeah, a lot of guys talk a lot of hate on him, especially because I'm from Oklahoma myself, and you lose a guy that's you think is loyal to the soil or whatever. I'm a big advocate. Go get your chicken. Go get paid. Go make some money. If Caleb decides he wants to go be a USC quarterback and follow his head coach who recruited him there, so be it, man. That's just the way football is. everybody and if you're a guy who's a grad transfer or you have the option of transferring, you redshirt that first year and then you graduate and you have this free year to decide, hey, am I going to stick with my alma mater or am I going to go somewhere else? Everyone who's been in that position, including myself, has had those thoughts. Now, doesn't mean you go and make that decision like, hey, I'm going to go over and do this. But at the same time, you can't knock a kid for wanting to change. He's given a program everything he's got and then decides, I've been doing this my entire life. I should be able to make that decision for myself. And if I want to go further my football career at another program for my last year of college, then so be it. That's the same thing for kids in college basketball who are, after their first year, they're like, oh, I'm going to leave and go to the NBA. You can't blame those kids for making business decisions. And if you don't believe that college football isn't a business for these kids, especially now with all these NIL deals, you're tripping. I mean, you're tripping. Kids are not, before they're even stepping on foot on campus, they're worth $1 million. So you can't shit on a kid for making decisions like that. I'm excited to see what Lincoln Riley does. I'm excited to see what Caleb Williams does. A lot of expectations, though. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not excited to see some adversity happen for those schools too. Like USC. Going down the line here, let's see. I've lost my place. Okay. All right. So we've got Mercer at Auburn. Haven't heard much about Auburn this year, but I can guarantee Auburn's those guys that are just known for killing Alabama schedules, just ruining Alabama football seasons. I'm excited to see what they pull out here. I don't think Mercer's going to be any problem for a team like Auburn. They're just tough. We've got number 7 Utah at Florida. This is going to be a really fun game. You've got an SEC opponent versus a ranked Pac-12 opponent. I can't just guarantee that Utah's not going to go in there and shit a brick because it's a tough Florida team. And I don't know if you've ever played in the Swamp or you've seen games in the Swamp, but that's a really difficult place to go and play on the road. Especially week 1 when you don't have your full team chemistry all together yet. You're still kind of figuring out your identity, establishing that on the offense and defensive side of the ball. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be tuned into that game. It's at 7 o'clock on ESPN. I've got Miami, Ohio at number 20, Kentucky. Kentucky's one of those teams that comes out and upsets opponents. I like Kentucky. I do. I think they're not going to have too much of a struggle against Miami, Ohio. We've got Elon at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, after that waxing against Hawaii last week, that was extremely difficult for me to watch. At the same time, I'm now going to be a Vanderbilt fan because, man, if we're losing a game by 50 points or whatever, I'm going to have to root for that team and advocate that they're a solid team this upcoming season so that way my team doesn't look so trash. The same thing with Hawaii. Something that bothered me, I was watching a video yesterday. They were talking about the worst teams already in college football starting week 1. And, of course, they had Hawaii at number 1 because of their loss against the Commodores. First of all, that's an SEC opponent. I understand what everybody says. Vanderbilt is like the little brother of the SEC or the redheaded stepchild of the SEC. I understand that, but you're going against a Mountain West program that is basically a locker room full of new faces, including their coaching staff. So I would give Hawaii a little bit of a break. We can start, you can get on me in the comments however you feel, but as the year goes along, I want to see my Bows do really well. I have guys on there that I know who I played with who are still on that team. So I'm rooting for you boys. Don't get discouraged about week 0. It's week 0. It's not supposed to be perfect, man. Go get them this upcoming week. We've got South Dakota at Kansas State. EMA, every man a Wildcat. South Dakota is not exactly a bad team, but Kansas State is looking very, very promising this year. In fact, I would go as far to say I believe Kansas State already will be one of the front runners in the Big 12 this upcoming season. I especially with all the rebuild that's going on in Norman right now, this is a prime time for Manhattan to rise up, like get them Wildcats out there. Let's get those purple people eaters going, okay? And I lived there as well. My dad coached at K-State, so I've got some ties going on over there. Let's see. Let's go down the line. We've got Army at Coastal Carolina. Army is another team played against those. That's just a tough group of people. And now it is at Coastal Carolina. So, they've got those wacky colors over there on that field and everything like that. If this was at Army, I would say it's a sure lock for Army because it is so difficult to go and play over there. They use military tactics over there. Like, I remember they would play an entire history lesson during a timeout between our games, and it meant nothing at all. They were talking about the invention of one of these tanks that were made, talking about the internal mechanics, and it would go on for 2.5 minutes. And then at the end of the little video, and when we're about to get out there, they're like, this entire video is meant to do nothing other than distract the Rainbow Warriors from converting their next drive. Go Army, and that's really what it is. And they would play weird music or like things to get you out of their groove. Army's very tactical, even with their football program. It's not just the military. So we've got Liberty at Southern Miss, and then we've got Illinois State at number 18, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, another team that is known for their big, tough, nasty guys up front. I really, really want to see that in this upcoming game of just how much better our Joes are than their Jimmies. These type of games need to be separating factors so that you can state your claim that we are going to be that good moving forward. Before you get, before these regular season games, you got to have these dominant wins over opponents that should not be on the same field as you. Can't stress that enough. We've got UMass at Tulane, taking Tulane there. We've got Southeast Louisiana at Louisiana. We've got Albany at number 10, Baylor. Baylor needs to show out here. Baylor, please do your thing. We got, Big 12. Please do your thing, Baylor. Grambling at Arkansas State. Then we've got Utah State at number 1, Alabama. I feel very bad for Utah State here. Utah State is not a bottom of the barrel team in the Mountain West either. They're usually really good within their conference. But we're talking about the University of Alabama. Okay? Like, they've got the dogs here to go and take it all the way. Man, I don't know what the score is going to be for this game, but I've got Alabama by at least 17 or 18. I mean, maybe 3 scores at least. Yeah, and I hope more. Because, like I said, you've got to be able to show your dominance over teams that should not be playing with you in the first place. Non-regular season games are just as important, stating your claim as to who you are and finding that identity moving forward. We've got Memphis at Mississippi State. Mississippi State, not a bad program. I kind of want to see an upset here from Memphis. I really would. Georgia State at South Carolina. I want to see what Spencer Rattler's cooking up over there in South Carolina. If you guys haven't followed OU football, Spencer Rattler was the guy. Everybody was talking about him. And then he got his job taken by Caleb Williams. So then he decides, okay, I'm going to help finish out the year, but then I'm going to transfer, not knowing that Caleb Williams also was going to transfer. So he goes Spencer Rattler goes over to South Carolina. He's kind of been under wraps a little bit. He's still a front runner right now in quarterbacks. He's still up there with like top, I think it's like top 5 or top 6 or something like that. He's still up there in talks about how good he's going to be. I don't know how good he is. I'm not like on the Spencer Rattler train either. I think there's a lot of times where he does look very young and shows that inexperience. But it's not to say that his game can't grow here either. But South Carolina, that's going to be a very interesting time. And you have the two quarterbacks who go and play in separate conferences. You've got that's just exciting to see. Like, how is his play going to convert over from being a Big 12 quarterback? Only time's going to tell. That's going to be at 7:30 on ESPN Plus and the SEC Network. Then we've got another. This is like my pause tie for my most anticipated game this upcoming weekend is number 5 Notre Dame at number 2 Ohio State. Now, Randall could sit here and tell me that Notre Dame is overrated because, you've got Notre Dame. They don't play as many competitive scheduled teams every year as an Alabama or an Ohio State or a Georgia. They're an independent team who gets that chance to go and play different people all over the place. And then by the end of the year, boom, you've got an undefeated team. And now you're like, well, obviously they deserve a bid, right? So I get where they're coming from. But at the same time, we've got Marcus Freeman in there. We've got guys that are starting to kind of change the way the program is going. So I really want to see what that means for guys in the locker room. And on top of that, it's Ohio State. So if Notre Dame goes and wins this game against Ohio State, you can't say much about their cupcake schedule or who they're playing. They're going to go out here and play this team week 1 right off the rip. And Ohio State, man, bring that offense that everybody's talking about. I need to see it. Got Stroud over there. I want to see points. I want to see a high-scoring football game. I am so excited for it. I'm locked in. I've been a Notre Dame fan for a while, but at the same time, I'm realistic, right? I'm not going to sit here and say Notre Dame's the best team in college football. But what I really will say is there's a chance. There's a chance. This is a big-time year, a definitive moment for Notre Dame. And the same thing goes with Ohio State. Ohio State, this is a must-win game, man. You're playing Notre Dame. What's going to happen here? That's at 7:30 on ABC. We've got SMU at North Texas. This is, you've got teams that are really down the road from each other. SMU should come out on top with this dub, but at the same time, nothing's guaranteed in football. I hope that massive NIL deal at SMU is going to encourage players to play better. We talked about it a little bit. $36,000 for each individual football player and basketball player on that team just for being on the team. Incredible. So money's on the line. Like I said, college football is a business. Go out there and earn that money. We've got Murray State at Texas Tech. Texas Tech. Please be relevant this year. Be relevant this year. We need it. The Big 12 is a lot of moving parts going on right now. Please do something. Shake a stick at it. Do something. Louisiana Monroe at Texas. Okay. We live in Texas. This is we want to talk as much as we can about Texas football. I want Texas to be good. I will say it on camera. I really, really do. But they haven't been in a while. And they lose key games. They lose to Kansas. We can't have that coming out this year. And it starts with Louisiana Monroe. I don't think that this is going to be a huge challenge for the Longhorns. But at the same time, man, please lock in here. Let's get 30. Let's put up 35 over on them. Let's score 60 points and then hold them defensively to 10. Let's make something special like that happen. That'll be at 8 p.m. and that'll be in the Longhorn Network. I'm excited for that team. Everybody here in this area is excited for them. Don't disappoint. Go be the guys. Then we've got Louisville at Syracuse, 8 o'clock. I want to see Louisville be great again. I also wouldn't mind seeing Syracuse be in the discussion. ACC football, man. There's some things happening. I want to see bigger and better things coming out of the ACC. Let's make it real. We've got Colgate at Stanford. Man, Stanford, another program with massive individuals. I think of those guys as just big old trees over there at Stanford. You know, they'll pop out a tight end or a really good tackle who's just massive. And he really got when we're talking about playing a team like Colgate, like go out there and whoop some ass. Maine at New Mexico. I don't know about that one. New Mexico is not exactly a breadwinner program, so who knows? We might get Maine in there. That'll do something special. We've got Idaho at Washington State. Washington State, they've changed things around. Obviously, they had Nick Rolovich in there as a head coach, and then with all the things that happened, they had to bring in midseason changes. So I'm excited to see how they're going to translate on the field this upcoming year now that they're not having to worry about so much off-the-field issues going on. Will they be a bigger deal in the Pac-12? We'll see. We'll come and find out. That'll be on the Pac-12 Bay Area Network. We've got on the Pac-12 network. Then we got Boise State at Oregon State. Oregon State has been talked about for having – they're like number 10 already ranked on best offensive lines going from the preseason. And I know one of the cats that's on the offensive line is their starting right tackle, Brandon Kipper. He was a guy who came from I hosted him his official visit to Hawaii, committed to Hawaii, played with us for a season, and then transferred. Brandon Kipper's a solid player, and he's grown a lot. He's a captain of their team over there. To say that they're one of the top offensive line programs in the nation right now, man, that is a lot of pressure to put on an Oregon State team already coming up into this season. That's a high expectation. And yes, I would love to see Kipper and co go over there and absolutely dominate. But at the same time, Boise State is not a bunch of slapdicks. And I want people to understand that right now. Boise State does this thing where if you go – now, mind you, it's at Oregon State, which bodes very well for the Beavers here, because if they were over at Boise, I really think this could be a completely different game. And it still could be a completely different game, just depending on – just different factors. You gotta buckle it up and be ready to play. Don't count Boise State out at all. Hell, even when we were at Hawaii, we still beat Oregon State. So that's one of those teams that could be very beatable. I still think Oregon State's going to pull off the dub here, but do not count out Boise State ever. They are a frustrating team to play. They don't go down in the night very easy. Just beware for those guys. Boise State's one of those teams that just drives me nuts. Kent State at Washington. UW, go out there. Kent State's known for having a good running back core. They'll move the ball, but at the same time, you're playing a top-tier level Pac-12 opponent, UW. They've always got a big defensive line. They know how to play. I am very I'm anticipating a blowout here for that game. UW is going to go ahead and get that. Western Kentucky for the last game of the week. The last game is Saturday. We've got Western Kentucky at Hawaii. And here we go, boys. This is your time right here to step up after a very, very tough loss, an embarrassing loss against Vanderbilt. I know that locker room is trying to change things up, but believe in yourself here. Western Kentucky is not a super easy non-conference opponent that they've got right now. No team right now for them is a look-pass team. They're going to have to do some things special here. But I definitely, I'm optimistic, man. Like, you have to be able to learn how to gel with the guys next to you, and that doesn't happen all the time immediately. So this is a must-win game, though, Bows. Let's go and get this dub. It's a very late game. That's why I love all the Hawaii games. When it's all said and done and I'm nestled up next to the couch or whatever, I can still throw on some college football and I'm watching it. But the only way you're going to be able to watch it, it's on Spectrum Sports pay-per-view. You're probably going to have to find a stream somewhere. But let's go, Bows. Let's go and get a dub. Let's start getting this Timmy Chang era thing fired up, man. I want to see some excitement going on there in the 808 state. I believe in y'all, boys. We just got to get that bounce back from the Commodores, because that just wasn't a very, it wasn't a very pretty pretty game. We've got the LSU and Florida State game going on. Now, that'll be a fun one. Wait, when is that game going? Is that on Sunday? Or when is that?
It's on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. So this is going to be a really fun game. Florida State's starting to look like they're piecing some things together. They had a big dub. Last week against a lesser opponent. So, we're expecting, this to be a much closer game. Some people are going to obviously favor LSU. They've got a new head coach over there. But at the same time, Florida State's good for a comeback. They need to come over here and they need to make some stuff shake because they have a history of winning. They've won a natty. It's been a while since they've been super good, but anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. This is a good matchup. I'm going to be very excited to watch this football game. So yeah, big week going for college football. And we're going to find out real quick what a few teams are made of. I'm super excited about that because we're going to end some debates and some discussions very quick moving forward. We're going to do a quick break, and we have some videos to show of some content that we've been pushing. I'm going to have my producer Isaac come up here in just a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about some breaking developments in the NBA. That's his forte. I want to get him on here. I love the way he talks about it. Very glad we have him on board. Big shout out also to my other producer, Tyler, doing a great job. Without these guys, we wouldn't be able to make the show shake, so thank you so much. But yeah, right now, and then when we come back, we'll do that NBA talk. I've got a little bit of quick NFL talk. And then we'll move forward. We'll talk a little bit about the XFL as well. So we'll be back soon, and see you then.
As promised, I'm here, but I had a few microphone issues. I guess they were charged.
Put the screen on Randall for me real quick.
Can you hear me?
I'm gonna just get my headset adjusted right here. Where are we at? What's going on, Randall? How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I told you guys I was coming on live. First of all, in Dallas, Texas, we cannot bet sports legally. Our closest option is coming to Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm here today to showcase the brand new sports book at the Horseshoe Casino in Bossier City, which is a Caesar Sportsbook property. So I've been to the old one before, which was downstairs in their poker room. Guys, look at the spectacle going on in here. Look at this place. Right?
Wow,
There's
that thing is massive.
There's the front. If you're familiar with this casino, as you walk in, before you hit the $1 million wall, the wall that's all cash, you take a right and you come in this way, right? You see these ladies, they're telling me this is the very first day that the new version of this sports book has been opened. And a matter of fact, we need to share it. I'll send you guys. I think I sent it to you earlier. The first sports book ticket in this new spot was a $200,000 bet for the Boilermakers to cover. Pretty intriguing. What's going on here?
That's insane. That's amazing. How long you just get over there, or are you just checking it out right now?
We literally just walked in. I know I was trying to meet the 12 o'clock deadline of you guys going off, and I'm going to place some bets, and we'll share that tomorrow. But we need to card this up later, guys. Welcome to the new Caesar Sportsbook. First day today opened in Bossier City, Louisiana, which is inside the Horseshoe Shreveport and Casino, right? So it's Caesar Sportsbook. We prefer Caesars.
Are you gonna be betting on any Thursday night football games tonight?
Yeah, I am. I'm putting bets out today, right? So we've actually hosted a podcast here from this casino several times. I'm pretty dialed in with the sports book, but this is the first day the sports book's open.
Oh wow. Of course, Randall will be lined up first to get up over there. Of course, he had to be first. I love that.
Well, I'm not first, but I am in here. I didn't know that they had the timing's impeccable that they're open today on to me what I consider the first big day of college football. We don't count Nebraska shitting the bed last week as the first day of college football, right? So I'm interested in the game tonight. I'll make my picks. I feel like she's about to tell me I'm a guaranteed winner no matter what. I don't know. She's about to tell me no recordings in here. That's why I went and cleared it with the sportsbook guy first. All right. I did. I already cleared it. I already cleared it with the sportsbook director. I literally just talked to him.
What's his name?
What, you tell me what sportsbook director's name is.
What's his name?
You tell me. There's about 10.
What's his name?
Guys, I'm gonna click off here, but hey, we are doing the Lord's work here, promoting Caesars with no marketing funds. But I'm gonna humor her and get off and go get the guy, and I'm gonna get back on and have her issue a public apology to me online live. How's that?
And I will.
Sounds fantastic, man. You stay.
But I won't if he did.
Bye.
What's going on, guys? We are back. This is JR Hensley here with the Sports Report. I'm about to bring on my producer, Isaac. But before we switched over topics here, there's two things that I missed that I wanted to cover with college football. Number one, this is just a fun little snippet. Oklahoma State's punter is 32 years old. So I just wanted people to understand how crazy college football can be at some point in time. Just wanted to mention that out there. That's just kind of that's pretty nuts. But then also, I don't know if you guys checked out. You guys are big on the commercials or anything like that. But there was another season 5 of Dr. Pepper Fansville, and let me tell you, that did not disappoint. One of the best moments is we had Bryce Young make his debut in season 5, where the sheriff, you don't know, is played by none other than Brian Bosworth, and he gets on his walkie-talkie and he's like, "Hey, how many NIL deals does Bryce Young have?" And he plays himself, so he's just sitting there selling foam fingers from a Fansville foam finger warehouse. And it was art intimidating life. Like, there's a lot of real stuff behind that, but he's asking the question, exactly how many NIL deals does the Heisman winning quarterback for the like how many people would have the opportunities that Bryce Young would have to go and make a to go and do a Dr. Pepper Fansville commercial. I have no idea what they're paying him, but that's truly incredible. When I saw it on there, I was like, oh, this is the beginning of something special for college athletes all over the place. It's so cool to see people getting paid like this, but also to be in iconic commercials, man. Dr. Pepper Fansville is absolutely freaking hilarious. And now we have dudes in the mix that are just making plays in college football, and they're like, they can directly put them into this fictional world. So I think that's absolutely amazing. Anyways, without further ado, my boy Isaac, my producer of the show, I appreciate you for coming back on here. You are definitely our eyes and ears when it comes to the NBA and even college basketball. Tell me, man, what's going on? How are you?
I mean, I'm good. Good. Thanks for having me back on. I appreciate it. So yesterday, we talked about Donovan Mitchell. We talked about the Knicks. That's been the huge landing point for him. And then right after we finished, about an hour or two later, Donovan Mitchell has been traded, but not to the New York Knicks. He is going to be a Cleveland Cavalier. Now, Cleveland gave up a package of, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, and Ochai Agbaji was this year's. He was a lottery pick. He was the 14th overall pick by the Cavaliers, as well as 3 unprotected first-round picks and 2 future pick swaps for Donovan Mitchell. Huge move by the Cavaliers. They were a team that has one of the best young cores in the NBA, and they decided, we're going to add to this young core. We're going to get rid of some of our depth, and we're going to go get an all-star. And that's the move they made. Now they're running a backcourt of Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, who both stand around 6'1", so it's a pretty short backcourt in terms of NBA players. And it was a big trade. It was a big day.
You think it's worth it?
If I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm giving up Colin Sexton a sign and trade. Now he was going to kind of be forced to accept his qualifying offer, which is worth $6.75 million, and then he would have been an unrestricted free agent after this season. So they would have had to go out and pay him. He was looking at $20 million. I think it's a smart move by the Cavs. I feel like he was the focal point of that. Lauri Markkanen's a guy that can come off your bench, run. He's 6'10", can shoot the ball really well. Good player. And then Ochai Agbaji could be an all-star, could be a guy that comes off your bench. We don't know. He's a rookie, but that has a lot of value because of the unknown. I think it is worth it. I think the picks is a little scary. When you're giving up first-round picks, you could be giving up a potential LeBron if you have a 1 pick, Giannis if you have a mid-lottery pick, or even like a Jokic if you have a guy going in the second round. They're giving up these first. Kind of scary. I think it is worth it to help this young core in Cleveland. Mitchell's a guy with playoff experience that this core of Cleveland doesn't have. I'm curious to see how it works out for them. I think it is a good move. It's a good win in the next 4 years move. Cleveland has all these guys now locked in for 3 to 4 years, and they're making a move to try to get a championship in those years.
Yeah. It's shopping season, right? Like it's time for, guys are feeling their way around. They're getting contracts finalized. We're getting a lot of movements, pick changes, things like that going on. It's an exciting time. The off season, right? This is what it's all about right now. These moves right here are going to define seasons for teams and careers for players, right?
Right, and it's huge. And it's interesting when you look at, you said shopping season, what Utah has been doing ever since they traded away Rudy Gobert was they were really honing in. The package they got for Gobert included Walker Kessler, a 7'1" rim protector out of Auburn, rookie, very talented guy that can stretch the floor and protect the rim. And they got a few other pieces to go to Utah for salary filler. Sorry, I was going to say contract. That makes sense.
You're good.
And they got 5 first-round picks in return. 5 for Rudy Gobert. Like we said yesterday, a guy that gets played off the floor. So the market for Donovan Mitchell was extremely high because he's a guy that can go get you 50. He can go get you 50 points a game. Not a game, but in a game, which is insane. So it was an offer from the Knicks in late July that came through, according to Woj, that included R.J. Barrett, who we talked about a little yesterday, Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson, and 3 unprotected first-round picks.
Sheesh.
Personally, I see that package, that trade package, as a winner of a package. But in July, they probably thought they could work a team like the Cavs to get more. But when the market dies down, there's not much you can do. And at the end of the day, you want this guy out of your locker room. You want to help him with his career. You want to help start your rebuild now. He's not a rebuild guy. He will win you games. You have to get him out. This is the offer that they were stuck with. I think it's a good package. Colin Sexton's a guy that can score a lot, little spark plug. Laurie Markkanen's solid. Ochai will probably be a good player, very consistent. I don't know. I think the Knicks offer could have worked in their favor more, but I think this will help Cleveland a lot. I think this is a good trade.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for letting me know what's going on in the NBA world, man. It's just unfamiliar territory with me right now, so I appreciate every bit of that.
Absolutely, anytime.
Yeah, we're gonna go forward here and talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and go with an injury report with the NFL. What's going on right now, and then a signing report. So we've got. Injury right now for the starting linebacker for the Tennessee Titans. We've got Harold Landry suffered a torn ACL during Wednesday's practice, according to ESPN. Landry, 26, was coming off a 2021 season that saw him earn the Pro Bowl honors for the first time. The 2018 second-round pick racked up a career high of 12 sacks while helping the Titans clinch the AFC #1 seed entering the playoffs. After making 3 starts as a rookie, Landry started in each of the Titans' game over the past 3 seasons. Over that span, the former Boston College standout tallied 31 sacks, 256 tackles, 41 for loss, 2 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. This is a huge loss for the Titans right now. So we're going to have to see how they're going to overcome and who's going to step up and fill those big shoes in this upcoming season, because NFL is right around the corner. Their preseason games are locked out, so we've got coming up here pretty soon. It is on. So let's see here. We've got someone said J.R. Hensley looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid that ate the whole Cabbage Patch. I appreciate that. I definitely did, and I would like you to join me at some point in time, because that would be amazing. Anyways, so then we're going to talk about O.J. Howard signing with the Texans. He was released by the Buffalo Bills on Tuesday. Buffalo wilted its roster down. Obviously, there are 53-man cuts. However, Howard was reportedly set to join the Bengals before the defending AFC champions added several other tight ends to their practice squad on Wednesday. And then Howard's busy week culminated on Thursday as he will sign with the Texans after visiting Houston earlier that day, according to the Pro Football Network. So we've got a few moving parts going on right now. Posa, do me a favor. Thanks for viewing the stream, but stop stuffing your mouth with Subway sandwiches, bud. You are not losing weight like Jared. You are Jabba the Hutt. Anyways, so let's talk about the XFL for a moment. The XFL, for those of you that don't know, and we've touched on it a little bit right now, the XFL is a program that is the 3rd time now that we have had the re-upbringing of this football league. Now, obviously, if you're unfamiliar, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson purchased this league after COVID because during that time, the XFL had just gotten its startup and it was doing really well with numbers and attendance, and things looked very promising. Obviously, when COVID came into the picture, we were no longer able to have fan attendance, and at the time, they weren't partnered with the NFL, so they weren't able to get those massive TV deals, and eventually just the streams and everything started going down. So when their revenue came down, they didn't plan for it. So they filed for bankruptcy, and then Dwayne bought this thing back. Considering that the NFL has now backed it, and so has streaming service like Disney Plus, it's almost safe to say that this league has a real chance of becoming the next feeder league for the NFL. They're going to pick up guys, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you'll see him touting around the number 54 shirt all the time, and he'll explain to you his ideal guy for the XFL is that one guy below the 53-man roster cuts that's just off the board, and there's nothing that they can do about it. This gives that kid or that man a chance to come in and showcase his talents on an outdoor football level. And it's very exciting, especially for guys like in my opportunity too, who are looking at getting back outdoor. Originally, you've only got the arena football, and then USFL just came back out. The USFL is doing a pretty good job. They're still trying to get, more and more TV deals. They've got that Fox. They got the MSNBC, I think. So that one should be up and coming. The thing with these spring leagues, though, that you've got to understand is viewership is going to pay for a lot of what's being put out there. And people, the trend is people just don't tend to watch spring football. Everyone just gets excited for that time for the NFL or college football when it comes fall. Now, I don't want to say that is going to be such a huge problem in the future, but it's something to think about. Like, is that going to be a problem here, or are these streaming services going to allow people? People might want to be watching football year round, but at the same time, the biggest thing from a player standpoint is it gives guys the opportunity to come back and play at a high level and get their chance to come back into the NFL. Now, mind you, I'm getting alerts about this draft pool thing that's going around, and people think that I'm going to be the guy to say this because this is my show and this is, Randall's show as well. I want people to understand this and get it through their heads that if you get a draft pool invite to the XFL, it says, hey, man, you're doing well. They have these emails going out, and eventually I'll pull one up to show you myself. But they'll say, congratulations, you've been selected to go into this draft pool. That means absolutely nothing. And if you're paying an agent so that you can get a piece of paper that could easily be forwarded to you from anywhere about your names in the draft pool, that means nothing. And I have heard from agents and other people that, especially with linemen and other guys, they're going to be taking direct NFL cuts going into the XFL this upcoming year. So if you think shit is sweet with your upcoming position because you've gotten some type of XFL, piece of paper that says you're in the draft pool, bro, good luck, man. Good luck, because there's a solid chance that your name is not even going to be picked come draft day or even talked about. And I hope that's not the case. I am all for everybody going out and getting paid and doing things. I see guys that are getting it that are definitely worth the talent, and I see guys that are getting it that have no business. That at the end of the day, they're not going to get that phone call. So try and be optimistic here, but at the same time, go and try and make other opportunities. If you're sitting there on the couch waiting for your opportunity and you're like, oh, I'm definitely going to get drafted in this draft pool, that happens in November. And then they start their season come January. You do not need to be sitting there waiting on the couch, hoping to God that you are going to get an opportunity or that they're going to call your name on draft night, because they're sending out hundreds of these little draft letters all over the place. I see guys getting these drafts all over the place. It means nothing, guys. It means absolutely nothing unless a XFL representative has reached out to you personally, or you were at one of those camps and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself comes up to you and says, hey, kid, I believe in you, which I have buddies who it's happened to already. That's why I'm trying to tell you. That's a difference right now. That's more of a surefire than you getting a piece of paper saying that you're going to be able to make it. Do not leave it up to chance. Go out there, continue working in the offseason. Please get better. Don't count on some stupid shit like that. Do what you need to do just in case that doesn't work out, because it's not just the XFL now. You have the XFL, you have the CFL, and you have the USFL. Take those times, get better, and do your thing. That's the last I'll speak about that for right now. But I do definitely think after a few years, the XFL is going to evolve into something special. But we'll get on to that later. Closing out the show today, we talk about, we want to be big in Dallas first. We want to be big in Texas first. And we're trying to get all of these food places knocked out to give our reviews and try things out. The other day, our team went over to Terry Black's over in Deep Ellum. If you haven't been, unbelievable barbecue joint. Some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had and some of the best barbecue I've ever had. But last night, I went to a very, very popular and famous place over here in the area. It is on the south side of Dallas. It is called Turkey Leg Paradise. Let me tell you, I have been anticipating and I've been wanting to go to this place for a very, very long time. And one of my favorite competitive eaters, Randy Santel, went to this place. And basically what they do is they take a whole turkey leg and they smother it with your favorite. So I got the spicy mac turkey leg, and it was unreal. Yeah, so this is it right here. And then my girlfriend got a 4-cheese Cajun pasta turkey leg, and both of them were gas, like unbelievably gas. I was trying to crush as much as I could, but even for me, who if I get a plate lunch, like that's not it for me. Like I'll take that down in a heartbeat and move on. But man, this food was so good. It's got that nice little spice to it. You can definitely tell. But they've got this rule, right, where if you pick up the turkey leg by the bottom of the bone and it doesn't immediately fall off and fall apart, just like a little flip, you get another one. You get it for free. And when I tell you that food was so good and that meat was so tender, I love every bit of that. I recommend everybody go over there. We're not sponsored by them, at least not yet. But I would definitely recommend, if you're in the Dallas area, you love turkey legs, and you kind of want that taste of the fair before the fair, go over there and check that out because it is so damn good. Well, we have gone over we have gone over college football. We talked a little bit about the NFL. We talked about the XFL, NBA. It has been our first complete week over here at the Sports Report, and we are a startup company. So we have a lot of work to do, a lot of grounds to cover. We're going to be going big, deep into college football, going to be on the scene. Definitely trying to make some UT games. First one's probably going to be UT Bama. Super excited for that. But just know we're going to continue to push out content. We're going to continue to strive to be better with our live streams as well as the things that we're pushing out. Go check us on over at TikTok. We've got Instagram going on. Reels are going really well. Go follow us on Twitter, TSR Dallas. Just keep supporting us, man. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching the show day after day. I know it's not super easy. I know you guys have work, but please continue to push this forward. If you have friends or family that might be interested in the Sports Report, go ahead and shoot them that link anytime. We really appreciate your support over here. We're doing everything we can to get this thing go up and running and be something that we're all super proud of over here. We also have our merch going on over here. We're going to continue making improvements with our merch moving forward. If you guys get a chance, go check that out on our website. Our link should be in our bio. We got hoodies, we've got shirts. We're going to try and keep pushing more stuff forward as it goes along. But yeah, man, Monday through Friday shows have been, we've been moving forward. We got that done. It's our first week. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Moving forward, expect to hear from us on Monday. We're going to be pushing content out, obviously, throughout the weekend. Well, depending on, we'll keep you updated, but depending on, obviously, the holiday on Monday, we'll see how that works with Labor Day. And yeah, Labor Day. And so we'll see if we'll be in. But moving forward, you're going to be seeing a lot of us. Once again, really appreciate you folks. First weekend off, and let's go. We're only uphill from here, baby. So really appreciate that, guys. This is JR Hensley with the Sports Report here. We are going to sign off. Tyler, Isaac, thank you so very, very much for being key contributors, great producers. Isaac, thank you for coming on the show and talking NBA. We will be back very soon. And hope to hear from you. Hope to see you on the stream.